playing Warzone like this. I have no idea why you guys allow yourself to play Warzone with the game looking like this. Listen, you could be hitting so many more shots if you had the right settings. You could be winning more games if you had the right settings, graphics. I mean, if you had your right movement settings, the right controls, all of it. So today we're covering that in an episode of Warzone Bootcamp. After endlessly seeing it in my Twitch chat, I am going to officially be sharing with you my settings in Warzone, and in my personal opinion, the best settings. A lot of people are going to tell you that you need to be using these NVIDIA filters. No, stop it. Stop. Look at me. Stop. They are not good. They're not helpful. We live in a world where it is not good. Now, for those of you not on PC, we got some stuff for you too, okay? Don't think that it's, oh, I'm gonna click off. Expel's over here trying to get me to use PC things and I don't understand it. No, we have things for you too, so stick around. I'm gonna scroll through my settings and I'm gonna show you every single setting that I have in a rather quick motion. However, feel free to pause it because I don't want to waste your time. However, there are things that I'm going to go more in depth on because it is more important that you all know why it is the way that it is. The thing that I get asked the most about is going to be my sensitivity, my aiming, and things like that, which, by the way, we'll have a new video coming out next week covering everything aiming, and it's going to be an absolute banger. But we're going to start in the keyboard and mouse section on my PC. Now, in the mouse setting, as you can see, we actually have our low zoom set to 0.5. And the reason why is when I'm on mouse and keyboard, I want to be the most accurate that I can. So dropping it down to half of what it normally would be is going to make it to where when I zone in on the target, I'm not moving off of them. In the movement section, there's a couple of things we're going to hit. The first thing we're going to talk about is automatic sprint. Should you use this? Should you not use this? It's going to depend on whether or not you're using a shotgun. In any case, every weapon is fine except for shotguns, because when you use automatic tactical sprint like I do, you hinder yourself while using a shotgun. As soon as you go to shoot it, sometimes it just won't shoot. When it comes to my keybinds, you may notice it's a little bit different than what other people normally use. Personally, I use whatever setup is best for me, and you should do the same. If you feel like it's better to use the X key or the C key or the Z key, I highly recommend you do that whenever you feel it's necessary, rather than using the left control, the left shift, or F or E or whatever it may be. On weapons and equipment, I personally prefer to use my weapon mount activation as ADS and use. I know a lot of people have a specific button that they press, but I feel like this is the most natural thing to do for me because it is like I'm aiming down over it anyway, and then I just press a button that I normally would press to pick something up. When we get into Killstreaks and Vehicles, there is one thing that I want to point out that is very important, and that is going to be your armor plate behavior. Always have this set to apply all. I know that some people tend to turn it off, but I personally like it on apply all. If you're in a gunfight and you need to put on a plate, it will automatically apply them if you just press it once and you need to move your fingers to another button. In overlays and shortcuts, I personally set my map behavior to hold. And the reason why is I tend to press that button on accident every once in a while, and if it pops up on my screen, I end up being screwed in the middle of a gunfight. I also always recommend that you have your minimap shape set to square. It is a big deal because you actually get to see about 30% more with the square versus the round minimap. And if you don't have minimap rotation on, then I don't know, you're just weird. Lastly, on our menu navigation, you'll see that navigate to the next tab is unchecked. If you're going to go into a loadout and you have that set to its default button, you may accidentally press it and it will go to the pre-made Warzone loadout. The next thing is going to be our general settings, which is going to be very important for those on PC. Now, a lot of people ask me what my field of view is and why I keep it at what I keep it at. Personally, I have it set to 120 because I feel like it gives me the widest angle that I can to see who I need to see. If you're on controller, you may feel that you hit more shots if you have it set to 107 or 112 to 113. The graphics setting is going to be a very confusing tab, but I'm going to run through it with you all and explain why I have everything set to where I have it. Now, there's going to be a couple of things that I don't recommend for you all, but I have them set for me simply because I create content and it looks best for you all when you're viewing the video. So let's go ahead and hop in. Off the rip, I always have a 1440p monitor, and you can see that I also have a 3090 in my PC. That is huge. Obviously, I'm going to be able to get a lot more frames than you all will in any normal scenario if you're not running a 3090 with a 5950X, which is why I can run that 1440p monitor and see so much. If you have the opportunity, I highly recommend upgrading to a 1440p monitor. One thing that everyone's going to tell you not to do is have on VSync, and I also recommend not having on VSync because it can hurt the number of frames that you get. But with the monitor that I have no issues with just getting 144 frames because that's all most people get. However, I only use that because it adds a little bit of screen tearing in my videos, which can take away from the thumbnails that I can get, as well as just the experience from the viewer side. If you have one of the newer graphics cards, I highly recommend turning on NVIDIA Reflex Low Latency. It really does help with hitting your shots, in my personal opinion. The rest of the settings are basically set to give you the best opportunity to see the game while also not taking up too much of VRAM in your computer, making it where you lose frames. If you have any issues, feel free to turn down shadow quality and/or texture resolution, and those are the things that are going to affect your VRAM the most. Everything else, please, please, please leave it where it's at because it's really not affecting much. I also recommend to never use NVIDIA DLSS because that can literally mess up where your bullets are going as compared to where the sight is on your weapon. This has been proved many times. I don't know why, it just does in this game. Instead, turn off anti-aliasing as well as ambient occlusion, ray tracing, and screen space reflection, and you'll have the exact same effect. You'll gain frames and the game will actually look better than it would with DLSS. In the audio, I personally prefer boost low, and the reason why is because I have high quality headphones. If you have headphones that were meant for gaming, I will recommend boost high because those headphones will already have the lows boosted, which means you'll need to hear the high. I'm not sure why, but that's exactly how all gaming headphones work. Now in the controller settings, everything is up to you. I personally like my low zoom set to a 0.7, but my high zoom will be set to a 1 because it helps with my snipers. So it's completely up to you how you have all of this. You don't have to use any of my settings. This is just what I like to use. On the flip, I do recommend that you use contextual tap. Of course, use apply all whenever you're doing your armor, which is what we said earlier. And everything else, again, completely up to you. So that's it. Those are my settings. I hope that this is helpful to you all. I know this is not a crazy video, but I figured if we are here trying to make you all better, then what is a better opportunity than to show you what has allowed me to go from looking like this to looking like this. Oh yeah. Again, it's just not true. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Either way, if you enjoyed, if this was helpful, I highly recommend you drop the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and check out the previous episode where we covered basic movement in Warzone. If you'd like to be in the next episode of Warzone Bootcamp, hop in my Discord and get ready for whenever I ask for some more recruits. Jesus. Don't get that in the video, Matt.